Welcome to Arcade Audio.
Ladies and germs, welcome to Dilettante Ball. I'm Johnny.
I'm Spencer.
Here on Dilettante Ball, we go into Wikipedia.
We click random article.
And we talk about it.
Yeah, we do.
What's
going on, man?
I don't know. How about you?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just living, learning.
Living, laughing, loving.
Living, laughing, loving.
Eating, praying. Loving.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there anything? I've been watching a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Really?
Yeah. It's fine. It's not very good.
But you're watching a lot of it.
Yeah, the episodes are real. They're like real bite size.
Yeah.
They're like each episode's like 17 minutes. So it's like
For real.
Yeah, because it's like maybe 22 to begin with, and then cut out the credits, cut out the intro, cut out the like recap. All of a sudden, you got like nothing left.
Okay.
So it's almost like, well, I have to watch it.
How much is there still Yu-Gi-Oh in production?
I don't know. I hope not, because I know the card game is going strong.
Sure.
So that leads me to believe the TV show probably is too.
I saw this is a few steps, but I saw this thing online that was nothing online is real potentially. So
right.
Take this with a grain of salt. But it was like a contract that a husband and wife drew up.
Okay.
Because the husband was compulsively buying Funko Pops.
Okay, sure.
And it was like he had like. It was like, Dave can spend $35 a month on Funko Pops.
It's nothing.
It's probably like one or two, maybe. What are
Sure.
they, like $18?
Which is so many more than you need already. Okay, but sure.
And then it was like, there were like all of these. It was like, not to exceed. This doesn't include like Funko Pops that Dave gets as gifts for other people.
Sure. Does not include special editions.
Or it's San Diego Comic Con, New York Comic Con, Star Wars Celebration. It was like these weeks, like this rule goes out the window, and it was like if Dave doesn't spend his allotment in 1 month, it rolls over to the next month. It was like It was.
I fucking love this.
It was nuts, and I was just like,
yeah. I wonder how many. It's a lot more like, I think it's a lot more talked about, like guys doing dumb shit like that, like getting like, I'm into like, well, Magic the Gathering is a great example of just like spending money on nothing. I wonder how many women also do that too. Like, is it 50-50? Like it's equal across the board, do you think?
Sure,
or is there some weird like,
well, yeah, maybe there is some weird thing where it's just like,
yeah,
gotta catch them all.
Because I never see like, God, my wife Cindy, she's always buying these Funko Pops, and I had to come up with this bullshit contract so she didn't go to some nerd convention and buy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That could just be my perception.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to even bring it up, but there is obviously the stereotype of like shoes or whatever,
right?
Or
sure.
Clothes.
Yeah.
But I think that is
equally.
I don't think it's the same, because at least like you're like doing something with them.
Right. It's not just like, I bought this, I'm keeping it in the package, and now we can't use our kitchen table. There was a guy in one of my classes I'm in now. Like, we were going around the room and introducing ourselves and like telling the facts, And it was like the first guy, and he was like, I'm Dave, or whatever his name was, and I'm what a lot of people call a hype beast. And I was like, a hype beast? I'm not sure I know what that was. And it's sort of derogatory, but also like maybe not so much. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But basically, like a person who like buys like really expensive, like limited edition, like shoes or clothes or whatever from, like Supreme or Bathing Apes or any of this, like whatever the new Jordans are, and then either like wears them so that they like they look like shit, but they're like really expensive and limited edition, so they don't care what they look like. They just go around like basically like flexing. And then after they've worn them and they're like, hey, I don't want this anymore, they'll just like resell them for like a shitload of money because they're limited editions or whatever, and people don't care if you've worn them as long as it's not
torn up
or whatever the fuck. Yeah. So it's just like, yeah,
weird.
It's like a person who's like in the business of like buying these like shoes or whatever and then like reselling them on the secondary market.
Dang. I know a guy who like he's a,
and also that definition was like from like Urban Dictionary, so I could have been totally wrong.
Yeah.
But
I know I know a guy who's like a sneakerhead, and I didn't know this at first, and he was wearing a pair of shoes,
like
and
a new one every day.
So he more not every day, but he has a fuckload.
Sure.
And somehow like a bunch of us were just talking, and he was like, oh yeah, guess how old these shoes are. And I was like, I don't know, like 6 months.
Yeah, right.
And he was like, I forget the year, but it was like they're from like 2007, and they look fucking
pristine.
brand new, and it was crazy. And then he like went through like how he cleans them and everything, and it was like
That's interesting.
it was all of his shoes look brand new, and he's like, yeah, these ones are from this, like it's nuts.
It's really like anything like niche like that to me is really interesting.
Yeah.
And it could be almost anything.
Yeah, totally.
Like for a minute, I was subscribing to this like stamp collector guy just because he like was super knowledgeable about stamps and was like going through his binders, like, oh yeah, and the history behind this one, and just like talking about like countries and shit. It was really cool.
I don't know why, but I just like 2 days ago got in the mail the like official USPS like stamp magazine.
It's like all the latest and greatest stamps.
Yeah, and there are some fucking radical stamps.
Yeah.
There's a whole series about dragons right now, like dragons of the world.
What the fuck, dude? And like, where are all these stamps hiding? You know what I mean? Like, no one's using them for postage. Well, first of all, no one's mailing anything. Except for me.
There was an order form in the magazine.
You know what the fucked up thing was though? You had to do it physically, so you needed a stamp in the first place.
I wonder if you can't order them online. That would rule so hard.
Do you know? I was learning a little bit about European dragons versus Chinese dragons. Do you know, like, in terms of like what they represent or whatever, like, in terms of like storytelling or like our psyches or whatever?
I assume this is based on nothing.
Okay.
European dragons are bad.
Yes.
Chinese dragons are good, more or less.
Yes, I think that's the gist I was getting. Yeah.
Also, European dragons are like more like lizards, and Chinese dragons are more like snakes.
That I don't know if that's true or not.
Just in appearance.
Yeah, I just don't know.
I mean, when you think of like a knight,
I see what you're saying.
they're like dinosaurs, and then when you think of like a Chinese dragon, it's like a
slithery,
flying slithery guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, I'll keep you posted on my European dragon knowledge as it grows. But yeah, like what do you know about European dragons, right? Like, what
you slay them. I mean, that's
kill
all.
them, that's
That's
what they're
it.
there
They're
for,
usually
yeah.
hiding. They're usually not hiding, guarding gold and shit.
But okay, so they have a bunch of gold, right. So they probably like spend the gold on a bunch of stuff, and right.
I think they just hoard it.
Oh, they do, right? Yeah. So that's what the European dragons do. That's all they do. There's like gatekeepers. You have to kill them in order to get like the knowledge or the wealth or whatever for everyone.
Sure.
Yeah. Whereas like I think Chinese dragons are like
They like give it out.
yeah, I think it's like that. Like they're like, oh, what's up, dude? Like you found me. Here's the good shit. Like I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but yeah.
You want to get an article?
Yeah, sure.
George N. Parks
Okay.
was the director of the University of Massachusetts Minutemen Marching Band at University of Massachusetts Amherst from 1977 to 2010.
Okay, that's crazy.
He also led the George N. Parks Drum Major Academy, a summer workshop program for high school drum majors that he founded in 1978.
Wow. So he showed up and then like made this program.
Yeah. Yeah, was that year good? All right.
Yeah, I got some changes.
You did some marching band, yeah?
No.
You never did marching band.
I did sit down band.
Concert band.
In middle school, yes. I did concert and jazz band.
I did marching band.
I always wish I would have. Well, no. Before I remembered that marching band was required, I always think like, oh man, I should have kept doing it.
Nope.
And then I think about marching band, I'm like, no, I'm probably fine. But it would have been cool to have kept seeing like how far I could go in terms of like learning how to play music.
Sure.
But that's the only thing that that makes me think.
With the exception of like the few people who like on their off time would go do like independent drum corps stuff. Everyone hated marching band. Okay. Most people hated marching band, and the only reason you do it is so you can do concert band.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's not too many places in the country that it'd probably be fun, like in terms of like the weather. Like maybe like Southern California, maybe.
It was certainly bad in Florida.
Yeah. Well, you had to like learn a bunch of like moves and shit. That can't have been fun.
It's called drill.
Yeah, drill. Like I did have to learn one drill when I was in ROTC because like one of the tests was like everyone had to like memorize this thing and lead the
brigade.
I don't know what I think the flight or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The group through some extra but it was like 20 moves. It was like nothing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. If you every now and then I'll like watched some marching band videos.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of the drill is unreal. Like
Just
seeing
like precision.
and just seeing like the crazy shape. Like, you know, people will do like there was one there. The show was like Michael Jackson.
Okay.
And they fucking
Like made him moonwalking or something. God
yes.
damn it.
It was
Like
nuts.
How do you even do that? There must be like a program like AutoCAD, but for like drill instructors.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Because how could you come up with that on yourself with like graph paper? Like you just couldn't, right? I mean, you could, but if it was
sucks,
1966
yeah.
or whatever the fuck. I wonder what the most. I would love to see a compilation of like the most impressive
Marching
drill
band moves.
Yeah, from like the last like 60 years or whatever. Because what would be the peak? Like, has it always gotten better? You know, since like 1985 or whatever.
I think the coolest thing that I could see, actually, probably will sound pretty simple when I describe it.
Okay.
I want to see a cube rotating such that it looks 3D.
That sounds cool as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. That's good. Yeah. Something like that. Something that like when you see it, if you're just looking at it, you're not impressed. But then if you actually look at it, you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, how did they do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be very good. Because that's the kind of thing that like, yeah, someone raised like with the computers wouldn't necessarily realize is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. That's fun. Yeah. Do you think somebody's done that? Like a whole series of like optical illusions or something?
An optical illusions marching band show would be so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And it could be all Styx music, and it could be called The Grand Illusion. That's a Styx
I knew you'd be able to
album.
help me out with something like that. Yeah.
It's a good Styx album too.
So yeah, there you go. There's your through line. Oh man, sounds pretty cool. No, I never did any of that.
I just found out. This is Styx talk. I just found out. I did not know this. The cover for The Grand Illusion, I just found this out like 2 days ago, is based on a picture or a painting, maybe a picture. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Picture of
a
painting.
piece of art by Rene Magritte, who is one of my favorite artists.
The apple face man.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's so the picture. The original picture is like a woman.
She has an apple in front of her face.
She has an apple in front of her face. On a horse
With
in the woods,
and
some
apple trees.
It's no apples.
The horse is
Pears.
eating. Okay. Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow, he went outside of his comfort zone.
This
is his pear period.
Yeah, his period. And it's like, it's hard to describe an optical illusion, but it's like
Yeah, I guess it is.
So
it's a woman on a horse in a
it
field.
looks like a woman on a horse in
trees.
front of trees.
Okay.
But then when you look close, it's like
The trees are like
like sometimes
the horse is painted over the tree, but under the sky.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
But then this
almost as if like the trees and the empty space are like stripes and sort of
kind of, yeah.
Yeah. I'm assuming a lot. I'm inserting a lot of words into your story.
You might. So then the Styx album cover is the same thing, but instead of actually seeing the woman on the horse, it's like that was like just cut out with like Photoshop and then put kind of like a spacey image of like a woman's face in it.
Okay.
You might recognize the album cover if you saw it, and I was like,
Maybe.
oh, that's a fun album cover. And then I just found out like 2 days ago, like, yeah,
It's a Magritte painting too.
Yeah.
So one of your favorite bands, maybe your favorite artist. I don't know if I could say I have a favorite artist.
I like MC Escher a lot.
Are you ashamed to say that?
What?
To say that MC Escher is your favorite artist? Because to me it seems so like that's what I would have said in high school.
Yeah, sure.
And you probably haven't revisited who your favorite artist is since then.
Well, no, because art is trash.
Art is trash. Took words out of my mouth.
Like,
there's no. First of all, if you would have said any real name, I wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
And had no opinion. And if you would have said literally any name I know, I would have been like, oh.
Yeah.
I would have been talking
Picasso.
shit. Yeah. Like, what do you say? Like, there's no answer that
I
gets
love
me.
Guernica.
There's no answer that could come out of your mouth that doesn't get me to do this exact.
Yeah, so I guess it's Magritte.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I like Magritte stuff because it's so. Some of it's so like dumb.
Right.
Like the fucking pipe.
Oh, that was him.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Like
This is not a pipe.
because it's like. Well, I mean, we don't have to talk about this, but it's like,
Well, it's pretty cool.
because there's like, it's like an ogre. There are layers. So, it's like, well, at first you're like, well, this is a pipe, obviously. And then it's like, well, it's
technically it's
a
actually
painting
not,
of
right.
a pipe. It's like,
I mean, you got to respect that, like, it's like what's that meme, like the galaxy brain meme?
yes.
It's like that, where it's like, you don't, like for him, but like, when was he doing that shit? Like the 60s?
Or earlier, way earlier.
Yeah.
Like, this is regular brain, this is a pipe.
Right.
Next brain, this is a painting of a pipe. Like, galaxy brain, this is not a pipe.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like that.
Yeah.
It's like, what's his name? Newton inventing calculus or whatever. It was like, how did you manage to like figure out like this next level of like thinking?
did he invent calculus or did he discover it?
Oh, that's an interesting thing to say.
Thanks.
Because I guess it was, 'cause math is so he's just describing how things work.
Right.
If we break it down.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great
Can
question.
you invent math or can you only discover it?
I think the answer has to be, it's literally impossible to invent math, right?
Because
math is just,
it's like Ben Franklin didn't invent electricity.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. He didn't invent like time or something. Like, it just is. It's happening. It's
Right, and that's
just behind the scenes.
That is how math works, right?
right. So
It's just this is.
well, so okay. So let's Magritte this. Is there such a situation that we could think of where we would be inventing math? Is that even possible? Let's break this case wide open right here.
There is a great interview with I think Terrence Howard, the actor,
okay,
where he's like I invented a new kind of math.
Oh,
but
I remember when he was saying that.
It's pretty like out there,
Yeah.
and he's
crazy.
I mean, yeah, he's wrong.
Right.
I mean,
wrong is a good word.
I don't know anything, but I'm
pretty
fairly
sure
certain he's wrong.
that Terrence Howard didn't come up with some math. Yeah. Professor Terrence Howard.
And not, but
You know what I mean?
Because I mean, even going all the way back to the beginning, it's like if you have one of something,
Right.
and then you get another one of those things, you have two of them.
Right.
That's
how math does.
you're not. That is how math does. You're not inventing that.
Right.
You know, some we didn't always have zero.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy.
And it makes me wonder if I could have come up with that concept on my own.
We could have discovered it.
Discover the concept of having nothing, or having the zero be a real number. Yeah. Like what like simple things. There's probably a infinite number of simple things that we all take for granted that we are too stupid on our own to come up with or conceived of. Like tying your shoe, or you know what I mean? Like, there's a billion things.
And that's I think there are simpler things, because tying your shoe is something that, like,
Sure.
I mean, something that I think about all the time is like when someone throws you something and you catch it,
Yeah.
you're like doing math.
That
You're doing the math to figure out like where
are.
the thing will be when,
Right.
but you just don't know that and you don't know the math that you're doing.
Do you think that the people that are good at sports are just better at math without, like, they're inherently better at math? Or do you know what I mean?
Like their brain like just works in a mathy way.
Yeah. So at first when I said that, I meant like in that behind the scenes way where your brain just does it. But
If it does it,
would you also be good at actual math? Like,
maybe, that like trope where it's like the dumb jock
sure,
it just needs it explained in sports terms and then they get it.
Right.
What if that's like, you're not like,
yes, your brain works this way.
But then as soon as you explain it, it's like, I just know.
If I have 5 baseballs plus 3 baseballs,
I know physics now.
Right.
It's like,
yeah, I don't know.
I wonder. I mean, because if you can do that sort
Clearly
of math,
your brain is doing the thing.
Yes.
Right.
So for someone to tell you like, okay, this is the way to do that on paper.
Right.
Does it just?
Are you capable of like?
Are you gonna be like naturally a little bit better at it than other
Exactly? Yeah.
people?
Do you have the advantage? Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's wild.
Yeah, but there's like if there wasn't such things as like grocery stores or whatever, I would just starve to death.
Well, sure.
Or yeah, sure. Well, like, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting how we like are constantly building on the like the achievements of like every person before us, right? Like,
Imagine
like the fact that a city can happen was because of that.
We should make roads. Okay, what should we put on the roads? Buildings.
Right.
Okay, well, we ran out of room. We'll just go up. Okay, well.
Yeah, but even before that, it's like there are no farms in the city, so like we couldn't eat.
Yeah.
So that has to be shipped in from somewhere else. you know.
Imagine if there were no grocery stores and like you would just make like you just have to go pick up stuff to make like some shitty salad. You know, like just like whatever goddamn leaves you could find.
So wait, would everybody have? Well, what if it was this? Maybe everyone. No, this isn't even feasible. It doesn't even make sense. I was gonna say everybody like is like practicing like subsistence farming, but like that it'd be impossible. You would need so much space. You couldn't just have like a windowsill, you know, like thing of turnips.
Yeah,
You know.
I saw this thing once, or recently it was like a tweet or something, and it was like, it said like after an entire summer of backyard gardening, like one delicious cherry tomato.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, you can't just go play Stardew Valley and then I think I can go farm now. Yeah, I don't know. That's
So yeah, you would just be eating like oak leaves and grass clippings
yeah,
with like ranch dressing
right, exactly.
until your ranch dressing runs out.
Yeah, your ranch dressing tree goes dry and you need to tap another one.
Yeah, how do you just...
Well, I mean, like the idea of like markets have been around for like, you know, a shitload of years.
Yeah.
You know, which aren't really grocery stores. So I guess not, you know, not everybody has had to have, you know, like, what's the smallest number of farmers that you could have and everyone's still cool? You know what I mean? Like, could like just like a dozen people just be farmers?
So here's the thing. I mean, right now, not to be that guy, but there are like 3 farmers.
They just straight up are.
Well, there's like Monsanto and ConAgra. And
sure. But it's not like they have drones harvesting everything, right? Probably.
I mean, there are big old machines.
Yeah.
Do you mean how many people? How much land? What are you asking?
Yeah, I guess
you're asking a bigger question than I think you are.
Yeah, I think I am. Let's go back to talking about math. That's way easier. Like, what if we figured out, like, okay, so here's what I was going to ask originally, right? Like, if we figured out how to travel like faster than the speed of light, it might involve like, you know, like wormholes or you know what I mean, shit like that, like outside of like the normal physics of how we perceive things.
Sure.
The math for how that works must already exist, even if we're not aware of it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? There's like new math just waiting for us.
It's like
we haven't found all the math.
Fuck.
You know what I mean?
And then as soon as you find it's like cracking a little extra piece of like the code of the universe.
Right. Yeah, it's like once you find the new math, you're like, oh, of course, this is how math does, you know, now. But there's so much math that we just don't know about, and it feels like we know it, but if we did, then we could do more shit.
I'm so mad that this is not episode 420.
We can just run this one back, dude. There's lots of math I could talk about. I don't know. Are we at a point now where people realize that we just don't know anything? Or, you know what I mean? Like, has every, like, let's say like every 25 years, were people like, man, we did it now. Like, what else could we do?
Yeah, I mean, the telephone, here we are.
Right.
The
like
television, here we are.
At what point did people start to realize, like, you know what? I don't think we know anything. Like, was it like, you know, 1890 or was it like 1970?
I think it's closer to 1970.
I think so too. I think people like thought that we were on the up and up, like after the TV got invented, that had to have been like the beginning of the end, right? Mm-hmm. Where it was like, oh shit, we actually don't know anything. Because I don't know how to speak Spanish, and Lucille's husband is Spanish. He speaks Spanish. This is them in 1950. Fuck, he's not Spanish? He's what?
Where's Cuban?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, I don't know. It boggles the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But language,
that's even crazier.
that is invented, not discovered.
Yeah, that's why it's crazier.
But also, it is and it isn't.
Okay.
Because an apple is going to be called something. You know what I mean? You're inventing the word for the thing.
See, I see what you're saying. And at a certain point, that is true. But if you go back far enough, that probably wasn't true. Like, let's say it was just like, you know, 80 people, and they just lived in this area, and all the area had was apple trees, and all they did was eat apples.
So then it would be, this is food.
Right.
And then you find more food, and it's like, oh, well, I thought that was food.
Right. Hand me some food. And they'd be like, I don't know what to do. Like, yeah.
Kind of like, there's that, I think it's a Mitch Hedberg or Dimitri Martin joke where it's like, you know, they must have been real pissed off when The guy who named an orange must have been real pissed off when they found carrots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like long pointies.
Yeah. Which one of them is that?
I think that was Dimitri Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. You know what I mean? Like once they discovered a critical mass of things, that's when they had to come go. Okay, fuck. Okay, fine. That one's a rock. That one's a stone.
Sure.
You know, like why do we have a difference? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, do we just want to like smoke a bowl and then just record it? We wouldn't come up with anything. We'd say a bunch of dumb shit.
Worse than this?
This is stimulating.
I just love math. What can I say? I heard this poem in high school science. Johnny was a chemist, but Johnny is no more. For what he thought was H2O was H2SO4.
Sulfuric acid.
Thank you for playing Arcade Audio. Play more at arcadeaudio.net.